Okay, so you graduated from Clark. And so, did you like start working or whatever? Like, what happened? Like,
Yeah, I worked for Pacific Southwest Airlines, regional, and I lived in California. I worked at Disney after that.
you worked at Disney?
Yeah.
Doing what?
I was an office PA.
Huh. So, because I'm trying to figure out, like, what happened. Like, so you were working, you were doing your thing. How do we go from working, doing our thing as a college graduate to just, being out here homeless? How do we get to that? What's up, YouTube? Marcus IRL, my new channel, a behind the scenes peek into my life as a dad, a content creator, and a man. Make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications, because I'm gonna be going live, and you never know what you might see. So go subscribe now. Marcus IRL. Now back to the content. What's up, YouTube? Atlanta Street Interviews out here with another one. So we got a young lady with us today. How you doing today, miss?
Hi, I'm Raven.
Raven, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So are you homeless?
I am
Okay, how old are you?
32.
32?
Yes.
I thought you was like 20. Okay, well, I guess black and ain't cracking, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. So, all right, so 32. And so how long have you been homeless?
I've been homeless for 9 months.
9 months? What happened 9 months ago that caused you to become homeless?
I dropped out of my master's in my home state, and I tried to join the military, and it didn't work out so rough. My parents both are military, and they told me to follow my heart, and I've been struggling with school in the military for a while. So I came back to my old stomping grounds, and I've just been kicking it here.
For 9 months?
Yeah.
Do they know that you're out here, your parents?
I'm not sure if they do, if they're aware, but they might.
Well, I mean, because, you say they're both military, right?
Yeah.
So that means it was probably like kind of a strict type of household that you came up in type deal?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. So real quick, do you have any kids?
I do not have children.
No kids?
No kids.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm talking about over there. All right, so no kids. And so have you ever been married?
No, I have not.
No? Okay, so, yeah, I mean, it's okay. So 9 months ago, what state did you come from to get to here?
I came from Florida.
Okay, Florida. Okay, is that where you're from?
I'm from Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. So, okay, so where you from? You from Maryland? What part of Maryland?
I'm from Hagerstown, Maryland.
You say Hagerstown?
Yeah, and...
Is that like closer to D.C. or closer to Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Okay, so that's outside Baltimore type deal. Okay, man, shout out Hagerstown, Maryland. All right, shout it out. Shout out the whole DMV. Shout it all out, man. I love it. All right, so growing up in Hagerstown, it sounds like you have both mom and dad in the household?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and so it sounds like they're married. Okay,
Yeah.
so like kind of like long-term relationship type deal?
Yes.
I get it. So like what some states would call common law marriage, you know what I'm saying? I get that. Okay, so do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have an older sister and 2 nephews.
2 nephews. Okay, how much older is your sister?
She's about 2 years older.
Okay, so y'all like grew up together. Were y'all like close growing up?
Very.
Okay. And so like I'm assuming she's doing well enough in life at this point or whatever?
Yeah, she has a master's in public health, and she's a great mom.
Awesome. Okay, and so so growing up in the house, it sounds like it was you, your sister, and then mom and dad, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so growing up, would you say you had like a fairly normal childhood?
I did have a very normal childhood, very caring and loving household.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you went to high school, graduated, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then eventually went on to college. Did you go to college straight out of high school, or like how did that work?
Yes, I went to Clark Atlanta University.
Oh man, you went to school down here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it's okay. So, did you like graduate? Did you?
Yeah, 2016, class of 2016, graduate.
Okay, so you graduated from Clark. And so, did you like start working or whatever? Like, what happened? Like,
Yeah, I worked for Pacific Southwest Airlines, regional, and I lived in California. I did a couple commercials, and
you was on commercials
yeah,
for that company you just said, for the airline?
No, separately.
Okay, so so you just did that on the side, like different little acting gigs and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay, so you was out there in Cali, kind of living your, were you single at the time? Kind of like, sounds like single lady, just
Yes, very
independent,
single.
doing her
Very
thing?
Single.
Why you say it like that? Hold on.
Why would you go to Cali and not be?
What? So you can't go out to Cali like in a relationship?
No way.
Why? What happened?
Why would you not go for your birthday?
For your birthday?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I actually took my daughter for her birthday, what was that, back in 2019. So that was a few years back. But it went out there to LA for like a week or whatever. Anyway. All right. Okay. So because I'm trying to figure out like what happened. Like, so you were working, you were doing your thing. How do we go from working, doing our thing as a college graduate to just, being out here homeless? How do we get to that?
I'm not sure how to place it. My sister told me that a guy said I was stalking him, which didn't make sense from a school that was near me. And his mom and dad were around a lot. I never saw him, and they always gave me food. And he approached me and asked if I was being patronized, and I said no, because it's associated with my mom and her territory. She's Navy, and so is my dad.
Okay.
He then told me he would join the Air Force, and I thought I was to join the Army. I don't know. But
so
I worked at Disney after that.
You worked at Disney?
Yeah.
Doing what?
I was an office PA.
Huh. A production assistant. Okay, I'm gonna ask a probably tough question, but has there ever been like any mental illness diagnosis or anything like that?
Are you familiar with Versage?
You say Versage?
Yeah, like medical terms.
Yeah, verbiage, yeah.
Yeah, they said they have a working diagnosis than a presented one.
Okay.
Of something very 1500s related, like
1500s,
but bipolar, schizophrenic.
Okay, so that's a working diagnosis that they have for you. How long have they? Like, when did they give you that working diagnosis? Last year. Okay. So that sounds like around the same time, maybe when you decided to come here.
Yeah.
To Atlanta. Okay. I get it. If your parents, because you say that they don't know that you're out here. So if they were to happen to come across this video on YouTube, what do you think their thoughts and their reactions would be?
I'm not sure. They might not like that I thought they would side with the doctor, and that's why I would not want them to see, because they're more than enough doctor capable.
Do you think that they would like rush out here and come and get you or whatnot, or?
I do not.
Why not?
They're under attack because they're Navy and disabled.
Huh. So if I'm correct, just tell me if I'm getting this wrong, but if I was to summarize this situation, it sounds like you grew up in a 2-parent household in a middle class or maybe even upper middle class area. Went to high school, right? Went to college at Clark, which we know Clark is, you got to pay for Clark, especially coming from out of state, but it's a private school, so you got to pay anyway. So it sounds like, you had like all the prescribed upbringings.
Yes.
How did we end up here?
I looked on the computer at what was going on at my school to see what was alumni related. I'm a part of the Alumni Association in Charlotte, and they said we were on Wall Street Journal, so I wasn't sure what that was, and I wanted to go see what was going on with my chairman from GSU.
Let me ask you something real quick. Just real quick. So, at any point in your life, was there like ever any trauma or anything like that? Like, have you ever had any sexual trauma or mental trauma? You say yes?
Yeah.
What age did that occur?
About 17.
What was it that happened at 17?
I had a house fire.
Your family's house?
Yes.
Whoa, okay. And so did any fatalities occur because of that?
No.
No? But I could imagine that was probably scary.
Yes.
Like, did it wake you up type deal, or was it like y'all were awake and the fire?
It woke me up and I had to
Like jump and get out and stuff. Like,
yeah.
wow. I'm sorry to hear about that. Okay. All right. And so, because like, is any of that the reason why some of the mental illness is going on?
Well, I think it's because when you're not with your family, you don't think the same. How are you supposed to think the same without family to
Give you that stability?
Exactly. Yes.
So do you want to go home?
No.
You say no?
Yeah.
You give me a second, bro? Give me 1 second, man. So you say, so like, for instance, if your parents were to contact me, right? Let's say they saw the video on YouTube, they contact me, and they say, oh my God, we haven't seen her in however long. Do you want me to put you in contact with them?
I'm not sure. My dad's in Augusta. My mother's still in Hagerstown. My dad just had leg surgery. His leg was removed. So he's probably not feeling up for that. But my mom, he asked if I spoke with her and something's wrong. So I'm here to make sure nothing's that wrong.
If your sister would have happened to see this video on YouTube, what do you think her thoughts and her reactions would be?
And I hope her therapist for her child is fine.
Okay. All right, well, listen, miss, we really appreciate you taking the time answering all of our questions. If anybody out there wanted to reach out, help, or donate, do you have a way for them to do that? Do you have social media, Cash App, anything like that?
I have none of that.
Nothing? You never had like an Instagram or Facebook?
It's for some reason deleted and not up and running any further. I don't know why it's down.
What did it used to be?
I used to have over 12,000 followers and somebody took it down.
On Instagram or Facebook?
On both.
What was the name of it?
Slim Ravy.
Some Raven?
Slim Ravy.
Oh, Slim Ravy, like
yeah.
gravy instead of, but
Yeah,
Ravy?
my name's Ravy.
Okay, so Slim Ravy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, well, listen, Raven, we really appreciate you taking the time, like I said, and we definitely wish you nothing but the best out here, okay? Make sure you have a good one, sweetie.
You too.
All right.